Let's have a little fun. I asked AI to pick 3 of the best bourbons under 60 bucks, and I'm going to blind those tonight to see which one of those is actually the best. If you haven't met me yet, my name is Corey. I run 2 whiskey-focused nonprofits, and I've been fortunate enough to visit each of the distilleries we're going to taste from today. I've learned from their teams, I've tasted straight from the source, but today I hand all the power over to AI, and I'm going to blind it to see if my guess for the best bottle actually holds up. All right, let me show you which bottles AI chose for us today. So the first one up is Four Roses Single Barrel. This is not the one at barrel proof, this is the one at 100 proof, but fantastic distillery, fantastic bottle. Next one up is Old Forester 1920. Actually, one of the first bottles I fell in love with, so I'm excited that it chose this. This one's sitting at 115 proof. And then the last one is Wild Turkey Rare Breed, and I can't get it in focus. There you go. Wild Turkey Rare Breed, sitting probably a little bit above 115 proof. They usually come in between 115 and 117. So a little bit of proof discrepancy, but I didn't give AI any decision points on proof. I just said, give me the 3 best bottles you can think of under 60 bucks. And this is what it provided. So we're gonna go ahead and blind it and see which one wins. The way it's gonna work is I have 3 glasses here, 3 Glencairns with a topper. Underneath it has a 1, 2, or 3. My wife wrote it down, and then she wrote the key in a book to my right. So when I'm done tasting, I can go ahead and open it up and see which one is which. Based on which one I chose, we'll talk about it a little bit, maybe give some stats on each of these barrels, and then go from there. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and nose through these, taste through these, and actually, here real quick. So the first one, it's not even in order. The first one is 2, the second one is 3, and then the third one is 1, obviously, but let me just make sure, 1. So I will nose through these, taste through these. I'm gonna fast forward because it's probably just gonna be really boring to watch me smell, taste whiskey. When I'm done, I'll talk about my thoughts, and then I'll let you know which one is the winner for me. Open up the book, we'll talk about it and go from there. So with that, I'm gonna go ahead and get started. All right, I'm back. Let me remind you that I drank in order of number 2, number 3, and number 1, right? So that's the way they were written underneath the cap. That's the way I drank through them. For tonight, the winner was number 1, and I don't know what that is yet. The one that came in second place was number 3, and the one that came in last place was number 2. I'll go ahead and list that here because that's a lot of contradictory numbers, so it's probably not gonna make any sense. But either way, so the first one I drank was number 2. It fell a little flat, but still was really good. It was leaning heavy dessert. It was enjoyable. It just didn't have the complexity that the other ones did for whatever reason, or maybe it just wasn't hitting my palate right tonight, but it was delicious. It just didn't have the punch that I was looking for or the completeness that I was looking for when blinding and tasting and trying to choose the best of the bunch. So number 2 was last place. Number 3 was a powerhouse. It was delivering bold, spicy, sweet. It was, if I'm being honest with you, it was giving me Wild Turkey Rare Breed vibes, which I thought I was gonna choose as the winner, and I'm still kind of on the fence here. I'm struggling with this one because I think number 2 is Rare Breed, which I thought was gonna be the clear winner. So I could be wrong, and I'd be excited to be wrong and proven that number 1 was Rare Breed, and even though I thought it wasn't Rare Breed, I still chose it, which would be an interesting little development here. But either way, number 2 came in second. It was fantastic. It was bold, spicy, sweet. The number 1 bottle and the number 1 that I chose was, for me, it was complete. It was balanced. And although it was a little bit lighter, maybe, it still delivered a ton of complexity. It was a word that I don't really use. It was almost elegant, right? So from the beginning to the end, it flowed nicely. It had no harsh edges, and I just really enjoyed it. And for me, it was like, I want to drink more of this. I would see myself in any scenario just sitting down and enjoying that bottle. So it was the clear winner. I just want to drink more of it. But for me, clear winner, number 1. So let's figure out exactly which one this was. I'll probably go from last to first. You can figure out. So it's really simple. It's just written down. It's nothing fancy. So number 2 was Old Forester. All right. So that had that heavy dessert for me tonight. It was delicious. It just fell a little bit flat for whatever reason. It gets only halfway empty, so I don't think that's really the case. But either way, it was good pour. I'm not in any way, shape, or form not recommending Old Forester 1920. It was third in this bunch. So number 3, which was second for me, was Rare Breed. Yeah, it tasted like Rare Breed. It had that bold, kind of upfront punch. It had that Wild Turkey flavor for me. So fantastic pour. I will continue to recommend it day in and day out at under 60 bucks. I think it's usually 55 bucks. and it's a fantastic bottle. I'm telling you, if you have not tried Rare Breed, it is something you need to get your hands on. It should be available almost everywhere, and I think you're gonna like it. So what came in first place, which I did not expect tonight, although I am a huge Four Roses fan, but when it was at 100 proof, I thought it stood zero chance in this category of bottles, but Four Roses. And this is the standard lineup. So this one right here, Four Roses, this one right here is the standard. So it's going to be the OBSV, which I believe is the high rye. I think it's 36% rye, something like that, 30 or 36% rye. So a high rye. It was just a very complete whiskey. It just tasted fantastic, and I wanted to drink more and more of it. And I will tell you, so I've been to Four Roses to do a single barrel pick, which was one of the best single barrel picks I've ever done. It was with Mandy, and I drank through all 10 recipes, and I got to kind of test my theory and what I thought was the best recipe for me. It came out that the recipe I thought I was going to choose was actually not the one that even came in my top 5. So it was a really fun experience, but I will tell you that I continue to drink Four Roses, and I continue to like it. It's just a good whiskey for me. You can drink the Four Roses Single Barrel Select. That's another one that's sub $50 that I think is really fantastic. It is one of the bourbons, I will tell you, that when you put it on ice for whatever reason, it opens up a ton. Give it a chance. It almost gets much sweeter in a really good way. If I'm feeling like getting a big ice cube and pouring some bourbon on it, that's one of the ones I go to. But I have no doubt that this bottle would be the same, but drinking it neat is obviously really, really good as well. So that's my lineup tonight. That's kind of how it all shaped up. I am kind of shocked, if I'm being honest with you. I thought no way, shape, or form would Rare Breed not win this blind, and to be beaten out by 100 proof Four Roses Shelfer. I mean, you can find this anywhere. Is pretty interesting. But beyond that, what are your thoughts on what AI chose? I mean, AI chose some classic ones that I think are not novel. I think every one of you have probably heard somewhere that these are decent bottles at decent prices. I know they're not, sub 40 bottles. They're still roughly 50 to 60 bucks for most of these. I think Four Roses is 49. Old Forester is probably in the low 50s, and same with Rare Breed. So I think Rare Breed's 55 usually. So they're not cheap, but they're not overly expensive, but they're readily available. So did AI get it right? I don't know. I loved each and every one of these pours, so I don't think AI did so bad. Okay, with that, I want to throw a little bit of curveball. It's actually been a really busy week for me. I did 2 single barrels at 2 different locations with 2 different groups, so I've kind of been running around a little ragged. But when I was traveling to each of these single barrels, I was kind of shocked at something that happened. And it was the first one I went to with a nonprofit called Whiskey Valor, which, by the way, I will get into Whiskey Valor on a future video. They are a fantastic organization. Luis, the owner and CEO, is running a fantastic organization, and I'm so excited about our partnership with them in the future. So I'm not going to go into that right now, but fantastic stuff. If you don't know about them, you should check them out. But they did a pick at a place called Old Line, and it's a place that only distills and produces single malt whiskey. They do rum and other stuff, but for the whiskey side of the house, they do single malt. Well, single malt is not generally my favorite thing. It's not that I don't like it. I like Scotch, and I definitely like all kinds of whiskey, Irish whiskey, Japanese whiskey, but I prefer bourbon, obviously. I'm running a bourbon channel. So when I got there to try the single malt, I was really, really blown away at how much it blended the line between what I thought of when I think of single malt and bourbon. It gave most of the flavor profile that you would get on a bourbon, but it was from a much different perspective almost. It just offered a very unique experience when you drank it, but I was really into it. And so I picked up this bottle. This is an experimental, so it's not something that, was going to be on the shelves right now with them, but I just wanted to show the name, Old Line American Single Malt Whiskey. This one was completed or finished in Toji casks, which I love Toji casks for whatever reason. I'm a big fan of it. But the owner there, I got to meet one of the owners, Mark, and there's another owner, and I'm planning on doing a little bit more detailed video on Old Line just because what they're doing out there is really, really exciting to me. They are a veteran-run organization. They were both served in the Navy, as far as I'm aware. I will definitely do more research and be better at this, but I wanted to toss it in here. So my question to you, in trying to understand a little bit of what's going on in the industry, is how many of you have actually had single malts that are being completed in America. In the new oak, I know there are a few organizations that are doing some of them. I had like 4 or 5 in the past year, but none of them were actually that exciting to me. But when I drank the single malt that they had, I'm telling you, it was a whole different experience. And the crazy part about all that is some of the single malts that we were tasting were sourced. And at the very end, they passed around a bottle, or not a bottle, but some glasses. And in that glass was, I didn't know it at the time, was their own distillate. And that, amongst everything else we did, the finished single malts, the regular single malts, everything that we blinded, that one was my favorite. And that is a very, very exciting thing for not only Old Line, but for the industry and the single malt industry, is that there is an exciting promise to what single malts can do in that American New Oak, and the climate that we have here that really does balance a little bit of, we're in the Virginia area and this was in Baltimore, but it's got a very similar climate to Kentucky, but then a little bit of the climate from Scotland, being near the water, all that kind of stuff. So really interesting time. This was something that I was not really spun up on, the single malt game in America. And I know that I have got tons of comments about single malts in the comments and whether or not I would do some content on it. And I had not planned on doing anything quite yet. I definitely plan on doing something in the future. But this was kind of a blend of those both worlds with American whiskey and then single malt. So got me really excited. I plan to do a little bit more on that, but I just wanted to hear y'all's thoughts. How much single malt have you all tasted? Is it a hard no for most of you? Is it a yes? Is it somewhere in between? If it is, and you have, tell me a little bit about what you've been tasting, what distilleries are doing fun things in the single malt space. I am really, really curious. I'm probably going to go down a rabbit hole. I promise this channel isn't going to turn into an American single malt channel. I will do mostly bourbon content, but this one really got me excited. And so I wanted to touch on it at the end of this blind. It has been a fun week, and this was a real cool capstone to that week. But with that, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. I know this is a short video. Like I said, it's been a busy week, but I wanted to get something out there to all of you. I have some fun things ahead. If you don't know, obviously you can follow me on the YouTube, or you can follow me on Patreon, but I do have the next single barrel coming out with short barrel. It is the raspberry honey finished. It is at 112 proof. I'm a big fan, but like I said at my last video, this is not something that I'm going to push. I'm just going to provide you the information. If you're interested, there'll be a link down below. I will probably launch it in about a week from when this video posts. But if you keep an eye out on my comments or my post or Patreon, then you'll have all the information you need. But with that, I appreciate each and every one of you, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.